Also, one more problem in 4.1. This is part 2 for exponents. I want to look at number 58 in your text on page 293. So we are multiplying two fractions here, and we have exponents on the outside, and then we have fractions on the inside of the parentheses. You want to start by looking to see if you can reduce the fractions. For example, if I'm looking at the first fraction, I know I can reduce the x's. You can use the quotient rule. If you look at the second fraction, we cannot reduce it. So let's start by reducing. So I know when I reduce, I'll just have 3 over 2xy squared, still to the negative 1 power, times, and I'm just recopying the second fraction. So what I did is I just reduced my x's, and so I could cancel 1x in the numerator and there'll be 1 left in the denominator. Now you want to apply the power rule, which means that we take the exponent on the outside of the parentheses, the negative 1 and the 2, and you have to multiply with all the exponents on the inside of the parentheses. Remember, 3 has an exponent of 1, 2 has an exponent of 1, x has an exponent of 1. For the second fraction, there's a 1 here and a 1 for the x. Okay, so you can always put those in to remind yourself. Okay, so you're just going to do 1 times 1, which gives us 3 to the negative 1 power. In the denominator, 2 to the negative 1, x to the negative 1, y to the negative 2, times y to the 6th over 2 squared x squared. Okay, once that's complete, then we can do one of many things. And in general, when you're looking at these problems with exponents, there's always different ways to start the problem. There's more than one way to do these problems. As long as you're using the correct exponent rules and your steps are correct, you should get the correct answer. So this is just one way to do this problem. One thing I can do is I can rewrite the first fraction so that all the exponents are positive. So remember the negative exponent rule. In order to make the negative 1 here positive, we would just take the 3, move it to the denominator, and then the 2x and y, move those to the numerator, and the exponents are positive. So we can do that. Let's rewrite the first fraction, 2xy squared. I do not need to put the 1 exponent anymore. You can if you want, but you don't need to. Over 3 times y to the 6th over 4x squared. Okay, I can just multiply fractions. We can also reduce. You can reduce the 2 and the 4. 2 becomes a 1, 4 becomes a 2. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, so let's see what we get. We get, oh, we can also reduce the x's as well if you wanted to. So I'm going to reduce the x too. And in the numerator here, we're just going to be left with y squared times y to the 6th. Add your exponents. Y to the 8th over 3 times 2, that's 6. Remember, I reduced the x's, so there will be 1x left in the denominator. And then we're done. So if you write out your steps, if you write out the problem step by step, it's a lot easier to solve and less of a chance for mistakes when you write out all your steps.